Hey guys, I'm gonna be posting a quick video tonight while I have time. I've been off for a few days, or probably more than a few days. I've been on a short vacation to Myrtle Beach with my girlfriend. We went to see a Morgan J comedy show. It was pretty funny. You know, anybody that hasn't seen him, I feel like it kind of caters to young people, but that's something I recommend to anybody that has a good sense of humor. It's just some Hispanic guy running around with a microphone with super heavy auto-tune singing and, screwing around with the crowd. It was pretty good. But I'm going to pull up my portfolio here. I've got a big update to make on here. I'm going to stop splitting my accounts in two. This portfolio that's a mess, it's a much larger portfolio. It's leveraged with margin pretty good. I've got a lot of money borrowed on it. It's a pretty sizable portfolio. I think I'm just going to switch to this full time and stop trying to manage two portfolios because it's too much. I don't have time for it. I kind of like playing with the bigger money. So I think I'm going to just transition over to this portfolio. Got 1 million holdings. I'm buying a bunch of stuff. And I kind of want to start posting about this portfolio and this portfolio only on why my portfolio is the way it is and where I plan on it being in the future, And there's another super cool, helpful thing that Robinhood added here. It's a dividend tracker that shows your dividends for the whole year. I can tell that it's new and it still needs like some updates to be kind of like the dividend tracking apps. But my current goal right now, it says projected on here $600 annual projection. Like right now, I've been paid $376 so far. I'm totally cool if I get to $1,000 by the end of the year. I want to slow down on the dividends and increase on the quality of the stocks that I'm buying. As you can see, most of those dividends have come from mainly the one on the top. Chippy's the main one. Texas Roadhouse, that was a random dividend when I was doing a quick little swing trade. But for the most part, I really think I need to hone it in and make better decisions overall. Like, yeah, there's a lot of money in there. I'm going to stop making withdrawals. I withdrew $60,000 to $80,000 in the last 6 months on outside of portfolio stuff, other work stuff I'm working on outside of just investing. So my money's kind of all over the place, and I'm kind of down bad right now financially. I'm finally got a new van so I can get back to work. I kind of got screwed over pretty hard, but there's nothing I can do about that. So I'm going to be reworking this portfolio hard, trimming some of the holdings and making more sense of what I've got. I do want to structure my portfolio a certain way. Like all these, portfolios have a, backbone or something in mind. It's probably going to be really ETF heavy. I want at least a quarter of my portfolio to be in ETFs because I don't want to deal with volatility anymore. Because I don't plan on investing, I'm not looking for 30 years. I'm looking for like a 10-year window here. I don't want to be too risky, but I don't want to be, I don't want to not have ETFs. I feel like everybody that I watch is strongly positioned in SCHD. I'm going to choose other things in SCHD, but I want to start getting more of my money into growth. And part of the way I plan on doing that, because I don't have a lot of income coming in, is using these high yield stocks to help. Now that I've got the foundation laid out, I've got a lot of money in CHPY, and I'm probably not going to add very much as time goes on. It seems to be growing on its own, 127 shares. I'm not going to drip that. I'm going to use, the majority of the dividends from it to buy growth stocks, and I don't want to sell it, even though it's at a pretty good gain here. I'm at, it says negative $83, but anybody that watches CHPY knows it moves around a lot. In a matter of a day, that could be plus $600. I don't want to take the gains on that. I just want to take the income from it because I believe, in 3 years' time, it'll pay out well over what I've invested into it. And then, in the future, I can sell it. Probably won't even have to lose any money on it. And if I lose a little bit of money, it would be well worth it depending on where my portfolio is at in the future. So I am going to post an update in the future. I mainly want to focus on, getting my ETF position, keeping that strong. And then I like industrial picks as far as stocks. Like I look long term in life. Like technology is predictable to an extent, but it's just different. I like to buy stocks that I can kind of think about logically and understand the business a little better. Like, yeah, I get all this tech stuff's going crazy, so that's why the ETF is going to protect me from like, hey, putting all my money in SanDisk, and then, hey, who knows where SanDisk is at, in the future. I just don't know crap about it, so I'm going to use the ETF to protect myself. A lot of the other stuff's pretty simple, industrial's pretty simple. Finance is pretty simple if you know how banks work and how lending money works, or how interest rates work from the Federal Reserve. If you understand that, then understanding finance is not too hard. Energy is pretty cut and dry. Communications, healthcare, all that stuff. Technology is the only one that I'm just not a technological guy. I don't know all the memory stuff, software, all that stuff. I know what all these words are, but do I really know anything? No. I don't know who the major competitors are in a lot of those fields. So I'm going to stick to what I know and structure my portfolio around what I know and what I like, and what's proven to make money and what will never stop making money. And, the last thing I want to talk about, I'm sure anybody that works hard and has ever had anything, it's really, really funny how as soon as you think you're, as soon as you feel like you're doing good, some people can't help but, notice in the wrong kind of light. Like, I personally, I keep a pretty tight circle, and we all, push really hard, when it comes to our outlook on life. We all are very forward thinking when it comes to finance. We're all trying to make money, and we all love talking about what we're doing. I feel like I've learned a lot from the people I'm around. All my friends are, either successful or borderline ultra successful. I feel like I'm probably in last place in my friend group when it comes to finance. And I think I'm going to pass some of them in the future, but I don't think I could even have this mindset at all without my small little circle of friends. And one of my friends in particular is the only reason why I even got like this. I had a completely different mindset when I was much younger. He's the only reason I feel like, I ended up like this. I've had two different sources of power, honed into one. I feel like I inherited, hard work from my parents, mainly my dad specifically. My mom works hard too, but mainly my dad. My dad can, my dad's a workhorse, and I got at least half of those genes in me. I can't ever say I could outwork my dad because he's a lunatic, but I got the hard working part from my dad. And I have a friend that used to be my boss, and I feel like he's an ultra hard worker like my dad, but he has the hard work is mixed with intellect when it comes to mainly finance, just how the world works. Like my dad's not dumb, obviously. He's made it however long he's made it. But, school and finance, all that stuff, he's super old. Like all that stuff is, not everybody in his generation had access to it. And that's fine. If he would have known all this stuff, 60 years ago, maybe he'd be a billionaire. But, he didn't. And, he's enabled me to get what I have. He's essentially, my dad's help has made it to where it's like I hit the fast forward button on wealth. Like I've probably gained 10 years of my life, 10 years of time in life because of what my dad did. And the whole reason I went on this big rant is because of what my dad has done for me. People are always going to have something negative to say. So anybody that, if you ever feel that way, I just think you should use it as motivation, because I think it's hilarious. And it's usually somebody either related to you or somebody that knows you pretty well that seems to have something to say. So I can't be the only one that's went through that, but the best part about it, it doesn't really bother me. And I hope that anybody that ever has those feelings, I hope it doesn't bother you either, because it's crazy when you think about it. It's always the people closest to you that are the quickest to kind of knock you down, or, don't you go feeling too good about yourself. So I hope you guys never go through that. So next video I post, I'm going to have some kind of idea, a much better idea of what I want to do. Because, my account's not huge, but it's plenty big to make something work with. It's plenty to operate on. It has potential to grow. I've literally been using it to supplement the fact that my job got you know, I lost my job for a short time. So I'll holler at you guys later. You guys have a good night. Hope you had a good Father's Day.